All right, we're back here on Dixon County Radio, and it's time for the featured interview this week. And I've got a candidate for County Commission District 4. And you guys know that the election is right around the corner, so we're trying to get as many candidates as we can in here because we want to get them the microphone so they can talk to you directly and tell you a little bit about their campaign. Mr. Mark Dawson. I say Mr. Mark Dawson. I should say Coach Mark Dawson, shouldn't I? Coach Mark Dawson is here with us today. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I
appreciate you coming in and talking to me a little bit about your campaign today. So you're running for County Commission in District 4 here in Dixon County, and I think that's probably where we ought to start because we start talking about County Commission districts, and everybody says, where are you talking about, Justin? Where is District 4? So if you don't mind, let's start by talking to the folks here and tell them where exactly is District 4 in Dixon County?
District 4 is a big area. I kind of explain it this way because it's about the easiest to me, is if you go in 48 Highway from Charlotte to the Montgomery County line, once you get past St. Paul Road, everything on the right-hand side of 48 to Montgomery County line to the right is District 4, all the way across the Montgomery County line to the Cheatham County line. Back down kind of follows Jones Creek, all of the Ridge, 49 Highway, Promised Land, Maple Valley, Rock Springs, down to Petty Road. And St. Paul Road's kind of tricky too, because if you turn down St. Paul, if you know where it's at, everything on the left-hand side when you turn off 48 is in District 4. The right-hand side is in a different district, and I get them mixed up. But
it gets a little confusing.
It's a big area. But I've been lucky that I grew up in Cumberland Furnace, so I know a lot of that area and a lot of people on the Cumberland Furnace side, and have spoke to a lot of them. And of course, I've lived out on the ridge off White Oak Flat for 40 years now, so know a lot of the area and all the little roads to go down, so I kind of know where everything's at, though.
Well, thank you for explaining that to people, because they always say, Justin, lead off with that, because we never know, what district the number correlates to what roads and everything. So, man, I appreciate you explaining that to us. And you kind of lead us into this first question I want to ask you this morning, because I want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about yourself. I know you said you've lived out there for a really long time. Let's start off here by talking to people a little bit about who Mark Dawson is. I know you've been teaching for a long time here in the county, so there's a lot of folks that do know you, but as we talked about before we started recording here, you got a lot of folks moving into Dixon County who are not necessarily from here, and they're trying to make it their home. So maybe for the folks who don't know a whole lot about you, let's kind of start as far back as you want to and just talk a little bit about who Mark Dawson is.
All right. Well, like I say, I grew up in Cumberland Furnace and went to Dixon County High School, played football, went to Charlotte Elementary, it was junior high then, 7 through 9, started playing football there. And but my parents are Norman and Glenda Dawson. A lot of people know them. Grew up on that end, and I started out when I got out of high school and went to work. I still call it State Stove. It's A.O. Smith now, and started out in the factory. That's where my dad worked. Hard work didn't bother me. I like working, cut tobacco, hauled hay and all that kind of stuff growing up. And then I went into framing houses, got into the interest of that. And after got married, my wife Tangent, we've been married 40 years. And I got into framing houses, but then things got a little slow, and I thought, man, my son got older and was playing football, and I thought, well, I'd like to get into coaching. I still, I've always been a big sports guy. And so that gave me a little interest in wanting to teach. So Creekwood was opening up, and so I thought, well, that's going to be some couple of spots, because I've done a little bit of, all the carpenter work and stuff, but I actually started at Creekwood teaching automotive the first 2 years. So my father-in-law was always in mechanic, and I'd got into that too. So that kind of got my foot in the door teaching. I done that 2 years, and the carpentry job opened up. So I taught carpentry there and construction for I think until 2016. It was 13 years, and met a bunch of great people and a lot of students. I've got a lot of former students that are in this district that, of course, most all the people know me as Coach Dog. That's kind of been my name, but that all the kids know me. But I coached football over there, helped my sister coach softball for about 15 years, and I decided I need a break. teaching was getting kind of burnt out, and so I took a break. Went back doing a little carpenter work. But then I found out I can't climb around these houses like I used to. So my buddy Joey Holly was principal at Dixon County High School, and the construction job was open. So I said, I think I'm going to go back. He couldn't believe it. He said, you really going to come back? And I said, yeah, let's go back. So I've been at Dixon County now, fixing to start number 9 on that, and I'm coaching football up there now, and enjoy it. I'm kind of back where I come from, because the shop class I got now is where I was at when I was in school when I took A with Mr. Lampley. So it's been kind of, it brings back a lot of memories. I tell a lot of my former classmates, I say, you can't believe I'm right back where it started, it seemed like. But now it's, like I say, I've lived out there off of White Oak Flat for 40 years, and got 2 kids. My son, Jordan, he works at the water plant, and my daughter, Shelby, works out at DMA, and they both got 2 kids apiece. But no, that's kind of me. I'm just old country boy, lives out, and don't mind a little hard work. That's all I've ever done. I like being outside, and of course a big sports guy, and but I try to pull for all the home teams that I can.
Well,
Tennessee and the Titans.
Well, I find it interesting whenever somebody gets into teaching and they teach something that they actually did in the real world, and that's real popular right now, I think, with like CTE classes. And for people who may not know what that acronym means, career, technology, education, teaching kids at high school how to do things that are going to correlate to jobs in the real world right after high school. Maybe even, instead of going to college, some of these skills can be used to get a job immediately. And I just think that's really cool that, you've had that real world experience, in building things. And you do that for the kids at school. You kind of teach them how to build things, don't you?
Yeah, it's been really enjoyable, because there's a lot of former students that are in some kind of construction. A lot of them, whether it's excavating and stuff, or I got one boy used to drive me nuts all the time, and he's one of the best, or 2 or 3 of them actually, some of the best concrete pourers around. And but no, it's that part of it's good. And the trades out there is getting, everybody that used to do this stuff is retiring, and there's no young people getting into it. But if you don't mind a little hard work, you can make a real good living, and you can go to work. I have people call me all the time, go to work right out of high school. And I had one just graduated, contacted me yesterday, asked me questions, already into it. So that's the part that I really like about it.
Yeah, and we're sitting here in the Redbird Realty office today. That's where we're doing the recording for the show, and they're very kind to sponsor the show for us. And I can tell you right now, just from hanging around here at the real estate office, there's not enough houses for all the people that are looking for them. So that's definitely a good opportunity for our young people to get into, and learning about those things. Coach, I appreciate you coming in today. Let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, I want to ask you a little more specific about your campaign. Maybe we can get into why you decided to run for this particular seat, and maybe we can talk a little bit about some of the things you do if you're lucky enough to win this election. But let's go ahead. We'll take a quick, short break. We'll come back. We're talking this morning with Mark Dawson, who's running for County Commission District 4. We'll be right back to ask a few more questions. Stay tuned. You're listening to Dixon County Radio. All right, we're back here on Dixon County Radio. We appreciate everybody tuning in for our special interview this morning. We've got County Commission candidate for District number 4, Mark Dawson, here with us this morning. The election is right around the corner, so Coach, we really appreciate you coming in and talking to us this morning. In that first segment, we talked a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your background, and kind of what led you up to this point. But now I would like to ask you, why you decided to run for this particular office. County Commission is an important, office here in Dixon County. Takes a big commitment. I know it's probably something you've thought a lot about. Can you explain to us, what's your motivation for wanting to seek this office?
Well, all my friends think I'm crazy, but they say, why? I don't know. Working in the school system has been kind of intriguing to me. And, of course, school board and everything. Of course, I can't run for that when I'm, working for the school. But I thought, well, I knew it was coming open, because the one there now was ran for mayor, and I knew it was going to come open. I said, well, something interesting, because I've seen all the stuff with the schools and money and the way the county's growing. I thought, well, might get into get involved with this a little bit. I'm getting a little older. I don't know how much longer I'm going to teach, and it might give me a little something to keep me involved in the county. And like I say, I've lived here my whole life, and it's interesting to me. And like I say, I've never been a politician. I've talked about that with people. I'm just an old country boy. Don't mind rolling up your sleeves and working, and that's kind of why I want to approach it. Is I still live in a rural area where there's a lot of still farmland, not a lot. Of course, a lot of it's been developed, but there's still a lot out our way, and the people that live in our area, they like to keep it that way because most people out there, a lot have grown up there, but there's a lot of new people that's moved in. That's the reason they moved, because they like the way it's quiet. So I want to try to keep it that way, of course, and help what I can and be the voice of the people that live out there. And the big thing I hear is keeping the taxes down. People want, because people work hard for their money, and they don't want to see their money wasted. And I'm one, if something needs to be fixed or something needs to be done, I know it's growing. There's a lot more people live here, but if we need to do things, I don't mind spending the money, but let's be smart about it and not waste money. And if something we don't need, then maybe if the people with me said, no, I don't think we need that, okay, I'll go with what the people want to do, and we won't vote on that. But I know there's a lot of growth going, and we got to spend money, but be smart about it. And I thought, I'll get involved. Like I say, working in the school system, I've seen a lot, because we've had a lot of schools built. I remember when Creekwood was built, everybody was big on that end of the county, because we only had the one high school, and but that's been good. And we've had middle school added, and there's some older buildings that need to be redone, and kind of the school system gets, with that. And I know a lot of the rezoning is part of the county commission is voting on, so they don't want a lot of people out our way, want to keep it kind of, the way it is. And so I just thought it'd be interesting in getting there and, be the voice of the people in our area, and, see what it's about and do what I can do to try to help keep Dixon County where it's at and improve as we go.
What are the biggest issues that you're hearing about? I know you mentioned a couple things there. You mentioned schools. You mentioned growth. What would you say is the biggest one that's on the people's mind?
Everybody don't want to see taxes go up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. Is like they don't want to see it, and they don't want to see why we got to have this. I mean, I'm not going to name different things. Why we waste our money on this? Why we waste on that? And that's the big thing. And they don't want to see their taxes go up. Of course, and that's the thing out there you think about is, people don't just have 1 acre. They've got multiple acres of land, and that's where it always hits, is the property tax. And, the more land you got, the more property tax you have to pay. So that's what hits the area I'm in a lot, because people do have multiple acres of land, and they don't want to see the taxes because, it costs them a lot more money out of our area because of how much land they actually do have.
Yeah, they like we talked about before we started this interview, one of the reasons why District 4 is so big is because it covers, the districts are actually proportional to the amount of people that live there. So if it's a small district on the map, that means that there's a high concentration of people. If it's a large district, that means people are very spread out. So definitely going to be different issues from a district that's really large, out in the country versus in the city. So definitely could see that. Now, if you're lucky to win this position, what are you going to make a focus? What are some of the things that you'd like to maybe see changed, or maybe stay the same, or what would sort of be your focus if you were lucky enough to get this position?
I'm kind of approaching this like a new job, and which it will be a new job for me. Is you can't go in there and just start turning things over right off the bat. Kind of get in, fill it out, see how things are going, see what I feel like I can help change or make suggestions on what could be done, because you can't just go in and fix something overnight if you think something needs to be fixed. But that's kind of the way I've been approaching. I've thought about this a little bit, and people's like, well, you need to go in there and do this. I said, well, you kind of need to see what's on the other side and fill it out, because sometimes there's a reason, and you can't just go in and just start trying to think you can change the world. That's just, I guess that's because I've been around a while and seen a lot of things.
Well, when you're a county commissioner, you're just one of 12 too. People don't understand. You're not an executive. You're not a mayor or a governor or a president. You don't come in and just. You really are, bringing ideas to the table and trying to work with others to kind of do the right thing. I guess, huh?
Yeah, because we was talking earlier before we went on, but the Burns area has gotten big, and White Bluff is getting big, and but that's why we've got commissioners from all over the county, because people that live in different parts of the county have different interests and have different things. So we got to try to do what's best for everybody in your area. So that's that was one of the big things I just want to get in, to try to do what the people want. And I know there's a lot of not everyone's going to be happy. If you try to make everybody happy in the world, it's just not going to happen.
You're right about that. I
found that out being in the school system, and there's always something going to happen. You don't understand, why are we doing this? But I tell kids every day in school, I said, it's part of life. Sometimes you got to do things you don't agree with, but that's why I kind of want to do this. Maybe I can see it, can explain to the people in our district why this is happening or why this should happen, and get their opinion on what they think should happen. I just, like I say, I can be their voice and try to do what I can on that end.
So you've been around here for a really long time, and I try to, whenever I talk to somebody and I get the chance to interview them that's lived here for a really long time, I always kind of like to ask them this general question of, you've been here for a long time, you've seen a lot of changes. Talk to me a little bit about, the difference between Dickson County now and Dickson County 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Oh, man, the biggest thing I see is traffic. Especially in Dickson, because a lot of people don't remember this. I remember when 46 and 70 at the intersection there at Walgreens, that was not there. I don't know if it's not many people old as me remember that. But if it was like it used to be 30 years ago or 40 or however long it's been since they fixed that, it would be bad, because people don't know Dixon Auto Parts and the carpet shop sit right there in that intersection. And but that's the biggest thing I see is that. And even on our end, you go to Charlotte in the evening and come through Charlotte at the three-way stop, they're backed up the hill. It's just, our growth has gotten so much more, it's gotten so much bigger, and so many more people on the road. To me, that is the biggest thing I've seen in the changes, of course. And people get out more.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was growing up, we didn't eat out. We thought it was a big plus to go out and eat. But now, that's what people do. They eat out more than they eat at home. And more people are out and about. And the growth of Dickson County has gotten really, really big. And that's the biggest thing I see is the traffic and the amount of cars and the amount of people we need for us on the sheriff's department, the ambulances, fire department. We're building they're building another station down there off 49 for the Harper Ridge Fire Department, right there close to me. And that's going to make station number 3, because we're getting so big and we're trying to get where we can. And I think I found out yesterday from a person that they're going to put ambulance service in that too, so we can get ambulance and stuff out in that area faster and help people that need to be helped. And I think that's a good thing, and that's one of the things when we go to spend money, that's something I think is a plus, and that stuff like that needs to be done, and instead of wasting on something else. But I look at stuff like that, anything that's going to help people, because that's a big thing. And that ambulance service being out that close is going to be good, because if anybody doesn't know, 49 Highway is crooked from Ashton City all the way to Erin, all the way across. And I hear a lot of sirens. There's a lot of wrecks that I've seen happen, and some bad ones. So if anything we can help on that end, it's going to be a big plus.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. We're going to take another break here. We're going to come back and wrap up the interview this morning. I'll give you a chance to talk a little bit about ways to contact you, and we'll give people the election schedule, because it's right around the corner, and I don't want people to be caught off guard by it. So let's make sure that we go over that here in just a moment. So let's take our last break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the interview with Coach Mark Dawson, who's running for County Commission in District 4. We'll be right back here on Dickson County Radio. All right, we're back here on Dickson County Radio, and going to close things out here on the interview with Mark Dawson, Coach Mark Dawson, who is running for County Commission District 4. Coach, we talked about your background in that first segment, a little bit about you. In that second segment, we really kind of honed in on why you decided to run and some of the big issues that are taking place across the county right now. Is there anything that we haven't discussed yet that you want to make sure that you say to voters? Anything that we may have left out?
Well, I'm a very approachable guy. If anybody that knows me knows, I'll talk your head off all day long if you want to talk about stuff and see what I can do to help. And if you need to contact me, you can. My whole campaign so far is I've been trying. Of course, I've got signs everywhere, but I'm trying to get out and shake as many hands and see as many people I can. Of course, I've had a little advantage of being a teacher, and I've been off. And I went out the other day and in the morning trying to catch people who are retired and all on the Ridge side. I'm fixing to go hit the Cumberland Furnace side, Rock Springs, try to get out, and I'm going to try to get out and hit some places. And if I knock on your door, you see a blue Chevrolet pull up, please don't shoot me. But I'm going to try to get out.
Going door to door.
It's been great, honestly. I've seen some people that I didn't know, and they've been great. And thank me for stopping and talking to them, and because people like to be talked to and they want to be asked for the vote, and it's been great so far. But like I say, I do it during the day is kind of hard because I know people have to work, and I'm gonna try to get out and do some meetings. Of course, that's tough too because I am a football coach, if you don't know, and we do our workouts and stuff in the evenings, so that part's been tough, but I made to get out. If you see me on a Sunday afternoon ride by, I know people don't want to be bothered, but I won't take but just a minute of your time, and I'm planning on probably going to do that this weekend and get out and see some more. And so far, it's been great, and everybody's been real supportive. I got a lot of former students out in that area that I've talked to, and they've contacted me, so it's been great so far. It really interested me. I hope I win because it's just like a game. Anything else to me, I'm going out to try to win no matter what it is. Anybody can tell you that. But
oh, absolutely.
My biggest thing, I really have enjoyed meeting people and getting to see them. And there's a couple of people I've seen that have known my parents and know my kids, and they've seen my name. It's, oh, I'm glad you come. I want to put a face with the name, So that's what people want to see, and that part's been really good.
Now, if they want to, ask you a follow-up question or request a sign or something like that, how could they get a hold of you?
You can call my cell. It's, it's 615-394-2607. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, if you call and I don't answer, leave me a message. I'll call you back. Because for some reason, I've been getting a lot of spam calls on my phone.
You're not the only one.
And it may block it. I don't know. But if you leave me a message, I promise you, and you tell me who you are, I will call you back.
Yes.
So, but that's the only thing I can say. The spams have been crazy.
They've been crazy. I got 10 of them yesterday. I think.
I've got it where it blocks them. So if it's not in there, it may block you. But if you'll leave a message, I promise I'll call you back.
That's what I tell people too. Like, shoot me a text. Say, hey, this is so and so. Just because we getting so many of these spam calls, sometimes you got to make your presence known, I guess, huh? All right. Well, we're right down to it. We're into July now, and so early voting is just right around the corner. I believe I'll let you tell them when does early voting start?
Early voting starts July the 17th, which is on a Friday. Will be a week from today. Today's 30. A week from tomorrow, and it goes through August the 1st. And then the general election will be August the 6th. And everybody in our district votes at Jackson's Chapel Community Center. And believe it or not, I put the roof on that building a long time ago, and it's still in good shape. So, but yeah, it's right there beside the church off on Boca Road, off 49. And I'm planning on being out there, seeing who I can. And if you want to do the early voting, you can go by the election office in Charlotte. And I don't remember how many days, if they're there 5 days a week or not, but
Yeah,
I think Thursdays they stay late, so some people have to work. Because I know I used to always do the early voting because being a teacher and coach, it's hard to get out on
Me
the
too.
election day, so
Me
I've
too.
always tried to do the early voting. So, but either way, I'd appreciate everybody that can get out and vote. 'Cause I know some people, I used to be one of those people that are like, oh, well, mine's not going to matter. Everybody else said, but please get out and vote, whether you're voting for me or anybody else. It's part of your duty and your privilege, so I appreciate any vote I can get.
I mean, we're really lucky, too, that our county offers the early voting option, because not all of them do, and not all of them do for that amount of time, because that's a pretty good amount of time from the 17th to the 1st. And you can go to Charlotte. You could also go to Dixon, to the public library there. So if you happen to be in Dixon shopping, and you can stop by there regardless of where you live in the district. Early voting happens in Charlotte at the election office, which is right over by Charlotte Middle School, and then it happens in Dixon at the public library government building that used to be Food Line for those old school
Right.
folks. The whole Food Line building, right? And so you can go there and through early voting, but then on election day you have to vote in your district. So on election day you have to go to Jackson Chapel, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
I forgot about Dixon. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, I actually just stopped by over there the other day and was checking out the dates and the times and everything, and so there's a lot of opportunity there for folks. And with election day being that first week of school, folks with kids, I've been trying to encourage everybody, because I want to see high voter turnout. I don't care who you vote for, that's up to you, based on your research and your decisions. But I would love to see the voting total go up. We talk about this. We've kind of complained about it on the radio for the last couple of years since we've been doing this show. People just don't vote as much as they should,
No, they don't.
and I'm hoping, if we can try to hammer out this early voting thing with people taking vacations and things like that, that hopefully, we will get more people out there. So again, early voting is the 17th through the 1st. Election day is the 6th, and I just want to encourage everybody to go out and vote. Coach, I'll let you have the last word here before we close out. Anything else you want to say to the folks?
All right, like I say, just come out. Jackson's Chapel, August the 6th, voting. And if you want to early vote, I'd appreciate any help you can get. If you can, like I say, you can contact me, 615-394-2607. If I don't answer, I promise I'll call you back. If you'd like a sign, I've still got a few. I'll be happy to put them out. Or if you just want to talk, I'll talk to you. You got questions, I'll answer them the best I can. Like I say, I'm for the people. I'm an old working boy that's worked his whole life, and that's the kind of people I want to support. And I understand everybody's decisions on why they want to do things, and I'll listen and do whatever I can to help you, and I'd appreciate any help I can get.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming in. Again, that's Coach Mark Dawson, County Commission, District 4. He's a candidate. Election is right around the corner. Coach, thank you for coming in. Good luck to you with the school year. Good luck to the football team. I know a lot of people rooting for the Cougars to have a good season, so good luck with that.
Yes, sir. Well, I thank you for having me on, and appreciate it. And like I say, everybody get out and vote.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to close things out. Appreciate all the listeners. Of course, we'll be back every day with a new interview at 10 a.m. this coming week. So make sure that you tune in, because we've got a lot of county commission candidates that want to get on, and a couple of state representatives, mayor candidates, and even I think one school board rep that's wanting to come on. So we're going to have basically a show every day up until election day. So make sure that you're tuning in to Dixon County Radio to get all of your election and political coverage. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.